Today, I'm sitting at the desk of the governor of Wisconsin, Tony Evers, with the man himself. Governor Evers, welcome to City Cast Madison.
Can you believe it? Here we are.
I'm feeling really special, and I know the whole team is, so thank you for making the time.
I'm good with it. How do you like the office?
I honestly was immediately impressed. I'll be honest.
Like, cool.
I am a big green fan and gold fan. Surprising. Oh my gosh, I did not walk into that. Packers. Go Pack. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
You guys deserve that. So
yeah, it's a good place.
Yeah, well, you announced this summer that you will not seek re-election next year, which created what we have now, the first fully open race for Wisconsin's governor in over a decade. Now that we're a few months out from your announcement, how are you feeling about that decision?
It was good. It was good. Once I'm, going up to that point in time, there's lots of talk between Kathy and I and other people. But once I made a decision, it was fine. I mean, it was a good decision to make. I've got 9 grandkids, and I really like to get to know them. And it's hard to do. And so that's why we did it. And I've been working in public sector for 50 some years, and it was time. And I feel good about it. The good thing is there's lots of things left to do in a very short period of time, a year and a couple months. And I'm going to have fun. I've always had fun in this job.
Well, this is so fun to be here. And, to be clear, you're still the governor of Wisconsin through the end of next year.
Hell yes. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're stuck with me.
But the race is on for who will succeed you. Looking at the candidates in the running for 2026 and the folks who may still jump in, are you hopeful that there's the next right leader in the pack for Wisconsin?
Oh, I'm sure there will be. And, I'm not endorsing anybody, so I'll say that right up front. But yes, I think the people that are running, and there could be more, are very capable of doing the job. So I feel good about that. I'd say that on the Democratic side. I wouldn't necessarily say that on the Republican side. But there's good Democrats running, and there could be more. Believe it or not, when I ran the first time against Scott Walker, that primary had 20 Democrats at one time. It was unbelievable. And we were kind of going off all over the state, talking 20 and then 19 and 18. It kind of got a little smaller over time, but it's good. It's good for democracy.
Yeah, I remember that. And there are kind of fewer this time around at the moment, but who knows who's going to jump into the race. I was going to ask if you were ready to share, but understood.
No, I got to clarify that right off the bat. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I do want to talk about your legacy. Well, actually, I want to ask a question because we're not live. I get to restart. What does it take to be a good governor? Like you're not endorsing, but what are you really looking for?
Well, you have to have reasons why you do run, and I had plenty. And I was following Scott Walker, who got rid of teacher unions and all sorts of other things that I found objectionable. You have to have an idea what you want to accomplish, and clearly we want to make sure that our kids had the best education possible, and that includes our folks that go to University of Wisconsin system and the tech college system, and so those are kind of the issues for the day. Several years ago, still are to some extent.
Mm-hmm. And speaking about getting things done and accomplishments, I do want to talk a little bit about your legacy. One thing that has marked your tenure, whether you've liked it or not, is divided politics. Amid historic and, at its worst, dangerous partisanship, yet you've still managed to get things done. So, while again, you have more time to accomplish things before calling it a day, what's an initiative or measure or piece of progress during your time in office that you're particularly proud of?
Well, there's several, but the kind of the defining one was fair maps. That was, clearly we talked about that when I ran the first time, and it played out legislatively. The first day I was here, the Republicans had a large majority in both houses, and you had a Democratic governor. And it was clear that the maps that we had were gerrymandered, and that we could actually do something to change that, and we did. And as a result of that, There's been compromises in this last budget, but it was hard work. I mean, one of the things that we did, and I think it was in our first couple of years, we actually put together a group of nonpartisans and brought them together to, this is the process that should be used. This is how we think it should work. And we followed their recommendations to make this happen. But fair maps was really important. And, Wisconsin's a purple state. We're never going to be dark blue. We're never going to be dark red. We're purple. And, that's a good thing, I think. It gives people conversations. It gets people to be involved with local politics and also state politics, because of our, we're purple state. I think it makes it more interesting and, frankly, a better world.
Mm-hmm. Well, we did actually ask listeners for questions and ahead of this conversation, like what they wanted to ask you. And something that's come up recently is folks still kind of feeling like the maps have more way to go in terms of fairness, looking at our congressional maps and having to, and, there's discussion of possibly creating, a body that would be separate from the state government. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I support having a body that would be independent. Now, that would be hard to find nowadays, I would suggest. But yeah, have an independent body that really runs the process and creates the maps. And and we did that with a group of people just so we could try it out. And it worked fine. Now, whether that happens in Wisconsin or not, that's hard to say, because the people that in the legislature may say, well, we know better, or the new governor might say, we know better than this independent body. But there's enough places in this country where there is an independent body, and I support that. And hopefully, at some point in time, we can get there. But the congressional maps, and you brought it up, so I just asked, that became a different thing because we couldn't make some changes in that arena because that was taken to the U.S. Supreme Court, that part of it, and they deemed the congressional districts as being okay. I mean, clearly they're not. I mean, we're a purple state. We have 2 Democrats and more than 2 Republicans in Washington, D.C. And so we have to figure that out. There has to be some change there, but an independent body can do that too.
Mm-hmm. Well, so we're a Madison-focused show, and you've lived in Madison and Dane County for many years, worked here. We love living here, and one of the biggest issues facing Madison is affordable housing. Part of your job is working with municipalities to achieve their needs. Madison is growing so fast, and the prices for housing is it's going it's insane. Mm-hmm. And people are really hurting. Do you have a take on how Madison might work to both promote progress and growth while also, trying to keep affordable housing and accessibility something for the people who already live here, and how the state might aid in that effort? Yeah,
and we do. I'll end with the first thing, or start with what you just said. The last thing is that we actually got $535 million for housing, affordable housing, workforce housing, that sort of thing. Not this last budget, but the budget before. That has made a difference all across the state. That is huge. I mean, Kathy and I will be looking for a place to live in a year and a couple months after that, and it is high here.
I was going to say,
I don't know if I can. I want to stay around where our grandkids are, and they're in this general area. So we'll be staying someplace in the Madison area, but it's expensive. It's really expensive, and so it is hard to make, especially Madison. You don't have that much room to create affordable housing, whereas the suburban areas have more ability to do that. But just to say it on a statewide issue, which is where I'm concerned, is that we need more money for that. We need it. We need it right now, but we still have some of that money left from a couple budgets ago. But it's bringing all the people together, the people that do the, not just construct them, but who's going to own the facility. All those things don't happen easily, but they have to happen. Affordable housing is one of those dots we have to connect if we want to have a good life, a good economy. It's housing, transportation, education, healthcare, all the things that frankly Washington's screwing up right at this very moment as we're talking, enough food, all things like that. But housing is a big part of that. I'll give you a small example, and I know this has nothing to do with Madison, but there was a smaller town in northwest Wisconsin where the three largest employers said, let's all kick in some money. And they actually built affordable housing in that city. So there's lots of ways of doing it. Obviously, Madison's a more mature area, and it's you don't have a lot of land left. But at the end of the day, affordable housing has to be part of it because otherwise they will go elsewhere.
Yeah, so some private industry helping out, like truly partnerships across the board. It's extremely complex. We were talking about before this conversation, just the needs that you have to keep yourself safe as governor and kind of the temperature of our country right now. You mentioned stuff that's happening in Washington, D.C. We're now in the second longest running federal government shutdown in U.S. history. It's scary times socially, politically. And amidst all this uncertainty, do you have anything that's giving you hope right now?
Yeah, there's all sorts of good things happen. Just today, even though it was very contentious, we actually passed a piece of legislation or a building program for our correctional institutions here in the state of Wisconsin. I know that's always controversial. Too many people in prison, too few people in the prison. But at the end of the day, the facilities that we need for correctional, they need to be changed. And we actually passed that today. It was not an easy thing to do. There was lots of conversation, lots of anger, but we got it done with the building commission. So no, I have great hope for the future. But when I spent time this last week thinking about, the SNAP program, the food program that is run by the federal government, as of next week, it's going to go away. It's going to go away. Those people that have those cards, that need those cards in order to buy food, they might put them down to pay, and the person that's taking the money might say, this doesn't work anymore. How are we going to, I could go on and on about what's going on in Washington, D.C. The good news is I do believe at the local level and at the state level here, we're in a pretty good place. We aren't perfect. I'll give you a small example. I worked really hard, as did a lot of other people, to get some state money involved with early childhood programming. We got some. Was it enough? Hell no. But it is a start, and once you have that start, I believe it will continue to grow over time. It's that kind of frustrations that I know people see, but at the end of the day, we've really tried to do the right thing, and I think we've been pretty successful.
Well, before I let you go, as mentioned, we asked our audience what questions they had for you. And the last question today is coming from a retired employee of the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction.
Uh-oh.
She wrote us and said, when you were state superintendent of schools, you spoke at many retirement celebrations and always asked the question of each retiree, what's the first thing you're going to do when you are actually retired? So, Governor Evers, turning the tables here on you, what's the first thing you're going to do when you officially hang up your hat?
Well, there's two things that we've got to buy a house and buy 2 cars. That's the first thing we have to do, and that is not going to be easy. But I have 2 things that's just really, they're in my heart, and frankly, areas that we aren't doing well in. And one is food. One is the issue of food sovereignty, food security, and whatever I can do, play a role in that, even handing out stuff at a bank, a food bank. That's what I want to do. And the other one is even more difficult, because I think a lot of people don't realize how difficult domestic violence is in this state. This state has, this last year, had 99 people murdered because of domestic violence, and that's men and women. We have to do something. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing in that arena, but whatever I can do to make that so that people get it. I don't think people get it. When 99 people are murdered, and that's a high number for a state this size. I was in Canada a few weeks ago. Large city, 400,000 people. How many murders did they have in 1 year? 4. And if all of those were domestic violence, I have no idea. None of them might be. How can a city that large across the border have 4 murders and we have 99 just in domestic violence? That drives me crazy. I can honestly say I don't know what I can do to help that arena, but whatever I can, I will.
Drawing attention to it is a huge first step.
Yeah,
and
for
can't
sure.
agree with you enough. It's not well enough known or talked about. And for folks, murder, everything in between, and violence. So what meaningful ways to spend your time after you retire? I thought you might say boating or something like that. But
no, I mean, Kathy is, she's good. She tries to stay as healthy as possible, and she does her work, and I'll do my stuff. And we like to ride a train. One of the things we're going to do is get on a train and go out to Portland and visit my brother. So
incredible.
We'll be doing some fun things too.
Wonderful. Well, Governor Tony Evers, thank you so much for your time and your ongoing service to Wisconsin.
Thank you. So fun.
Wonderful. We got it.
Yeah, we're good.
Good.